We posted something about the media in the 90s versus media now, right? And, you know, I think on every platform I have at least 5 trolls, at least 5 guys that's just like, they follow me just to hate on everything I say. So one guy was like, man, you just young. You never heard of Tragic Johnson, Kevin McPhail. And it's like, I don't mind the trolling, but at least pay attention. At least pay attention to the context. I said media from the 90s versus now. Kevin McPhail, the Tragic Johnson thing, that was the 80s. And still in all, you don't remember them as those players, right? When I was talking about the 90s, I was just simply saying, hey man, they invested $600 million into the NBA. It wouldn't make too much sense for them to allow other media outlets to harp on these guys' failures because it wouldn't make the money. Because we got to remember, basketball was still fairly new in the 90s. Not fairly new to the public, not fairly new to the playground, but remember, the 70s, they was like, basketball wasn't a mainstream thing. The 80s, it became like, okay, we got some action, we got some high flyers, this is interesting. And then the 90s just shut the door behind it. The 90s was just like, we here. So it amplified it, right? But my thing was, in the 90s, I can remember Shaq being swept. There was no nickname for Shaq, but there's a nickname for LeBron when he got swept. I remember when Patrick Ewing missed that layup. Yeah, it was like a tragic Ewing or something like that, but at the same time, he's one of the highest paid athletes. You don't remember that. You guys remember, oh, J.J. Barea, Jason Terry, 15 years later, after LeBron won 4 rings after that. 4 rings. And we still talking about it. And I understand some of you guys are going to say, oh, it's a social media era, duh. We get that say that on our phone. Nah, Stephen A. Smith was still talking about it this year. Not this year, not 2026, 2025. Skip Bayless made a living. He made a living off that. You know Skip Bayless for his takes, his bold takes, his brass takes towards players. Who you know like that from the 90s? Who you know? So a lot of these guys jump in like, they didn't talk about Jordan when he wore number 45 and he lost to Orlando. What was his nickname? A lot of these guys jump into my DMs and comments. You know, like I said, I'm a competitor. I'm a competitor in every way. I love to compete. So sometimes, you know, if I have to compete verbally or in the comments, I will. So I see them. I see all of it. But fellas, we got to get a grip on this. We got to get a grip on this.